So you've been accepted to grad school, but unfortunately, you probably didn't do very well in your final semester or your final year. And you're afraid that you're not going to meet the conditional cutoff that was indicated in your acceptance letter. So what should you do? So the first step here is to make sure you reach out to your grad department. Oftentimes, a lot of, especially competitive programs, oftentimes they actually mark their conditional offers, their averages higher than what the university requires of a graduate student. So for example, your conditional offer letter may say you need a minimum of 80% average to maintain your spot in grad school, but whereas at the university level, they may only require the bar minimum of 70%. So make sure you reach out to your grad department and see if there's any wiggle room. Oftentimes what happens is if we already accepted a student because we think they're a really good student, and and it's not just about the GPA, it's about the whole package, we're okay letting it slide a few percentage. And in my department's case, we actually set our program's admission average higher than what the university specifies. So oftentimes if a student is saying, they may not hit the percentage by a few percent or a few decimals, it's not a huge issue because they're going to be well above the actual university cutoff. So in order to save yourself, the panic and the stressfulness, make sure the first step that you do is to reach out to your grad department and specify and also clarify your situation. Explain to them fully that you are just estimating it based on whatever internal marks you may have, or based off of the first couple of grades that have been released, and you're worried that you might miss the actual conditional offer average by a few point decimals, and see what they say. If they come back and say, hey, no worries, our cutoff is well above the university's policies, you're going to be fine, we're okay with you, slipping a few decimal points, then great, you just solve your situation. If they come to you and say, well, sorry, like, we are really strict in terms of our conditional average, you have to meet that, minimum we specified, then you want to make sure that you don't wait until you see those final grades. You need to start planning out what your backup plans are. So what are some options for backup plans? So obviously the first thing that you do is to take additional courses. Look at what courses you are confident that you can take that can boost your mark in the summer, and consider applying to those. And obviously in this option, you need to reach out again to your grad department to make sure that they're only going to look at your top or your most recent number of credits, or if they're going to calculate all the credits that you've taken in the past 2 years, for example, then you really need to consider how many extra courses you might need to take, and how high of a grade you'll need in those courses in order to boost your average. The second option is to reach out to your grad department and see if there's any processes for students who might miss the mark, but if there's any explanations that they can do that can help salvage the situation. And lastly, your third option, and the option that people often don't want to happen, is you have to consider that you may lose out on your admission spot, and that you probably have already missed the other deadlines for accepting all the other programs that you were also accepted to. And you need to start considering what are your next steps. Do you want to reapply again in 12 months time? Do you want to start looking for a job and working? These are realities, and obviously this is the very last option, and often people don't want this option to happen. But in most cases, if you've already been accepted to a grad program, and you're worried about your marks, oftentimes your marks are probably going to be off just by a few decimal points, and oftentimes this can be easily boosted up with just additional summer credits. So again, if you are in this position, make sure you reach out to your grad department and see what their policies are and what they recommend to you. You're often not likely the first person that have been encountered this situation. They often probably get a 1 or 2 students each year with similar situations, so they definitely have a lot of experiences, and they will know what the next steps are for you. So definitely reach out in terms if you're in this situation, and you definitely want to reach out to your grad department to get some clarity on what to do next.